So we call that the Al Bundy syndrome, right? When you're reliving your glory days in high school and you're 50 years old, you're 60 years old, but you can't seem to be letting go of those highlights of your youth because you can't find any highlights of your adult life. Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
In today's episode, we want to talk to you about learning to let go.
I'm sure if you've seen TV or you have children or toddlers, you've heard the song Let It Go that was featured in the movie Frozen. And oftentimes it comes to my mind as I am thinking about something that starts to affect me in a negative way. Or I think, you know what, why should I try right now? Didn't I already do something amazing 10 years ago? Why do I have to keep proving myself? Well, that's crazy and that's lazy.
If you don't come to a place in your journey, in your life, where you don't learn to let go of things that are keeping you back, it will hinder you from success. It will hinder you from obtaining your dreams. Because all of us have been focused on something, maybe closing your eyes and seeing yourself be somewhere else and being better at whatever it is you want to do, but you're still holding on to things that are holding you back.
And that will suffocate your potential. If you don't learn to let it go, and those things can be positive or negative, whatever things are in the past that we're trying to drag into the future and live by those things and hang on to them instead of creating new moments, new victories, overcoming new challenges, well, then we are suffocating our potential.
You know, I think of a passage that I've read a while back. You know, you can't put new wine in an old wine sack, right? Cathy and I, we're constantly evolving. We're constantly looking at our relationship. We want to make it better, make it grow stronger, right? So the old things that we've experienced in the past, the things that weren't good, we discard them, right? We don't want those back into our life. So we call it for what it is, and we learn to what? Let it go. You know, even though I may have hurt Cathy in the past and done other things, you know, we've come to a place of healing where we can what? Let it go. And this takes time. But me, on my part, I got to be willing to walk with Cathy through this healing process, right? In order for Cathy to truly be healed and to really experience that freedom of letting it go, we both have to be in agreement with this. Because if I bring in something in our relationship from the past and she's already let it go, the problem lies where? Lies with me.
So today we're going to talk about how to learn to let it go. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around. I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned. Not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man. Learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. Today we're talking about learning to let it go. Let what go? Right?
Let your previous victories go as much as your previous pain. Because we see people all the time, and I mean every day, that hang on to something that they did or accomplished 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and they hang their hat on it like that's their life's accomplishment. You know what? You know what? This was my number one accomplishment, and I did it in high school, and so I'm going to coast through the rest of life.
So we call that the Al Bundy syndrome, right? When you're reliving your glory days in high school when you're 50 years old, you're 60 years old, but you can't seem to be letting go of those highlights of your youth because you can't find any highlights of your adult life.
Ooh, of your present.
Of your present.
So if you're stuck on something you accomplished and you're not even trying, you're not setting any new goals, it's time to let it go. The same thing with your past pains. So if somebody has hurt you or you've hurt somebody and you can't let go of your own guilt or you can't let go of unforgiveness towards somebody else, it's time to let that go too. Because all that's doing is tying you up, binding your hands, your feet, so you cannot move forward.
One of the things we're going to talk about today is this thing called false bravado, where you can't let go of this false pride. I know for any man or woman who's ever gone to prison for the very first time, from the very first time you were incarcerated from the county jail, you were afraid. Fear crept in, and it was keeping you to a place of where, and fear ain't a bad guy in this situation because it kept you alert. It kept you in your high sentence, as your high spider senses were activated, right? Because you're in an unknown place, right? And fear was your strength at that time because you were unsure of what you were facing. But now let's go forward. Now that you've been 2-3 numbers, maybe you've gotten accustomed to prison because you can't let go of the experience. So you want to relive it over and over again. We know people who can't seem to hold a job down because they can't let go of the last time they got into it with their boss or something. And so they carry that into their next employment, right? How many people we know have been divorced more than once, twice, 3 times, and they keep carrying that same guilt or baggage that they experienced from the last relationship, they carry it into their new relationships.
And so chaos becomes addicting, right? So when things are calm, people that are broken tend to go look for more chaos because they can't let it go. It's like, wait, things are too calm. Things are going too good. So let me block my 3-point. Let me just prove that I'm right. I can never get ahead. Nobody ever gives me a chance. When the truth is, you're not giving you a chance. You're not giving yourself a chance to create the next best experience, the next high point in your life. You're not giving yourself a chance to move beyond your worst moment.
Now, I was talking about earlier about people who've gone back to prison because, here's the truth. People who go back, it's not that they didn't let go, it's they never embraced the experience. So they don't know what they need to let go of, right? So letting go is also learning at the same time. You've learned the lesson. You've acquired what you're supposed to acquire in the midst of the heartache and pain. But instead of growing from it and letting it go, you didn't deal with it. You ignored it. Therefore, you get to repeat it again.
Right. So you're still letting your past define you. You're refusing to allow yourself to overcome whatever it was that got you to prison in the first place. And so if you don't recognize what has gotten you there, you're never going to move forward. When we talk about learning to let go, we have people on each spectrum, as we said. One is like, okay, their glory days, and the other one is their pain, right? Their bitterness. And each of them thinks that they're better than the other. They're like, well, at least I'm not like him, living stuck like he's, when he was 15 years old and he did X, Y, Z. And then the person over here is like, well, at least I'm not like him, like he's so angry and bitter. The truth is both of those are unhealthy ways to move forward. You can't move forward. It's like, have you ever tried to hang onto your feet, hang onto your toes and jump? It's physically impossible. Well, that's what you're doing when you're hanging on to things from the past. You are literally gripping your feet so that you are incapable of moving forward. So then you get more and more frustrated with yourself and more disillusioned with the world because you cannot move forward when you're hanging on to things you need to let go of.
Letting go sometimes isn't easy.
Oh,
right?
I'm going to say it's never easy.
It's never easy, especially when the pain is so real and you haven't looked at it, right? But this is part of the process. This is part of your own growth, your own evolution. You have to come to a place where you have to make that conscious decision. I'm not going to allow my past to define who I am anymore. I'm going to let it go. It's been dictating your every step of the way. It's been dictating if you're going to turn right or left. But it's time to take self-control of your history. It's your history. It's still part of your story, but it doesn't have to be part of your present. So we're putting together past, present, and we got them so messed up we can't even see the future because we're still holding on to the past in the present.
So what we're talking about is a fixed mindset. that this is all I'll ever accomplish. This is who I am. This is what I've done or what other people have done to me. And we can't comprehend the idea that we could be something different, we could achieve something different, and that we actually can have something different than what we have known to this point. And so if we want to move from that fixed mindset, we have to develop a growth mindset. So if you really want to learn to let it go, you are going to want to stay with us because we're going to talk more about why it's important and then how to do it.
So stay tuned and we will be right back. Welcome back to TYRO TV. Today we're talking about learning to let go. And so we got to qualify that, and then why is it important to come to a place in your own journey where you have the power, where you have the confidence to let things go?
We've all been there where we have not let something go and it poisons us. It poisons our relationships. It poisons everything around us. It's like, oh goodness, it's like this bad smell that just like hovers around you and it infects every interaction you have.
When you mentioned a bad smell, when you think of that, and all of us know what a bad smell smells like, right? It just smells bad.
Rotten eggs, rotten potatoes.
So say you can't get rid of the smell. So what do? We try to cover it up. Well, this is what false bravado is. This is where that fake courage comes into play. Because you didn't deal with the past, you couldn't let it go, you weren't healed from it. You carry that experience into your next experience. And so instead of dealing with it, you're trying to cover it up with this fakeness that it's not the real you. So you'll put on one mask after another to try to convince people you're not who you used to be, you're not who you are right now. You're trying to play this part that is not real. Why? Because you didn't deal with the reality that you experienced because you weren't able to let it go.
I love that analogy, Ron. Like we're trying to cover it up instead of actually dealing with it. And it reminds me of when the boys were little and we were getting ready to go to church. And I decided that day we were going to get all dressed up. And I don't remember why, but there was something going on. And I put on a white suit, white skirt, white jacket. And for days before that, I'd been saying, something smells funny. And I had half-heartedly looked to see what was smelling funky. And I couldn't find it. And I was like, man, there is something weird. But that morning I was like, man, it smells so bad. But I thought right before I left, I thought, you know what? I forgot something that I want to do before I leave. I'm going to get out and make sure we have onions. So I opened up the cabinet and I reached back to pull the onions out of the back of the cabinet. And as I pulled the onions out, in front of the onions was a bag of potatoes that looked fine from the front. But as I pulled the onions, the whole bag came and the whole back end of the bag of potatoes was rotten. And I mean, like so rotten that then I was gagging and juice ran out. It was all over my white suit. It was disgusting. I'm gagging, which then made the boys gag because we were all like, bleh, right? And so we were late for church, had to change our clothes, had to clean up this whole disgusting mess, ruined our entire experience for that day of what our plans were because instead of dealing with it, instead of actually digging deep to take the time to really figure out where the smell was coming from, when I first noticed it, I covered it up. And that's exactly what goes on when we don't let it go. It's like instead of dealing with it, and what's going to happen is it's going to be exposed at the worst possible time.
And you're in a place, everybody, you're in a place where you get to take time to open up those drawers, right? Open up those closets. Open up where you got some dirty laundry that you haven't been dealing with that's way back in the corner, right? And we've all know what dirty laundry that's been sitting there for too long smells like, right? And so, but when you get the opportunity and you're being courageous with yourself, you're able to really, you know what, I'm going to open up all these drawers. I'm going to open up every closet in my life, every closet in here, right? This is what we're talking about. And I'm going to clean them out. I'm going to get the own disinfectant. I'm going to figure out what I need to bring this type of Clorox bleach experience,
right? Yes.
And kill all the germs that are causing me to be sick.
so that I can move forward. You've got to let it go. You have to let it go. You have to let go of your glory days. Many times as we're talking to people, and the guys will be like, when I was out on the streets, I had big cars, I had women, I had a lot of money, I had this amazing house, I had. And so Ron will always ask, so, wow, how long has it been since you've been home? Oh, gosh, 18 years, 22 years. And Ron says, and you're still using that moment in time, which was, first of all, illegally obtained, second of all, 18 years ago, to try to bring yourself and tell yourself that you're worthy, to say, you know what, I have value. It's like, trying to have some sort of external thing to show off, to convince somebody else that you're worthy is a sign that you're not healthy. It means you've got stuff you have not let go of.
One of the things that I say when I'm speaking, especially going across the United States, speaking in prisons here in Ohio and everywhere else, right, or even other functions, formerly known as 250-397. That's not my glory day, that number.
No.
But what's my glory days? I've been home 17 years this month, right? And so we celebrate that. Why? Because every day we celebrate freedom. Every day our life is a celebratory life, right? So we're celebrating every moment. Did we deal with the past? Of course we dealt with the past because it doesn't hinder us anymore. But we've learned and we've grown from it. And guess what? When we do talk about it, we talk about it as where it is. It's in the past, right? Nobody knows I did 15 years in prison unless what? I tell them.
If you want to have a healthy relationship and you want to build a foundation for your legacy, you have to let go of things in the past. Let go of whatever it was. Again, those victories, those glory days that are long gone, or the pains, the unforgiveness, the bitterness. You have to let go of all of that so that you can properly bond, you can heal, you can grow together. So those of you that are in a current relationship, if you want to really be close, then you've got to let go of things in the past. Those of you that maybe have had a series of relationships or no relationship and you want to have a lifelong relationship, this is the perfect time to get yourself ready for that. And you say, you know what? If I want to have a relationship, I want to get married someday, work on you. Get rid of the stuff that is past.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about how. How do I make this happen? How do I truly let go? So stay tuned. We'll be right back. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And together we have been working with tens of thousands of couples for the last 2 decades.
And we have been helping couples understand that nobody's right and nobody's wrong. They're just each seeing it from their own perspective and unable to bridge together.
So when's the last time you were in a discussion with your significant other or your spouse and you had a disagreement over something so small that turned into something so big?
So many of the couples we work with have this experience where they argue about something because they only see it from their own perspective.
So I'm looking at it from my vantage point, and guess what? Frankly, I'm only want to see it my way, because it's my way or the what? The highway.
Over time, what happens is these issues start to pile up and they create more and more distance between couples. And so now we're arguing about every small thing because we have to defend our perspective.
As we began arguing, it really was apparent whose side I was on. I wasn't on her side and she wasn't on my side. In fact, we were on opposite teams.
We became enemies, and what was more important for us was to be right than for us to actually understand each other. When couples do this, they continue to erode their relationship. What you need to do is get the issues out from between you, move them out in front of you, and remember that you're a team able to navigate through anything together by seeing all sides of the issue.
Now remember, there is nothing more important than us.
In this dynamic program that's internationally recognized, you're going to learn how to resolve conflict, how to get on the same page and listen for understanding. Couple communication, which was written by Dr. Sherrod Miller and Dr. Phyllis Miller, will actually help you be on the same team and recognize the power of resolving conflict together.
One of the greatest tools that you're going to embrace is really coming to the understanding that what you've been doing is natural, but this is learned behavior, and we're about ready to take you to a next level on how to enhance your relationship.
Now, if you're sick and tired of having all of these petty issues come between you, if you are exhausted from every time that you have interaction with your spouse, it turns into drama, then this is where you want to be. You want to sign up for couple communication. You want to take this program together, and I guarantee you that you are going to love it.
Stop telling yourself that tomorrow you're going to do better. Stop saying to yourself, tomorrow I'll find that program. Today's your opportunity to do something not only for yourself, but for all those around you.
In couple communication, you're going to learn a brand new process. This process is going to help you avoid ever fighting over petty stuff again. It's going to take you to a new level in your relationship as you learn how to listen for understanding, to clearly articulate and share from your own experience. You're going to get on the mats. You're going to have notepads. You're going to learn skills that you're going to be like, wow, if only I had known this at the beginning.
It's not too late. We are all on this journey. We are all on this continuous improvement plan. But guess what? You have to take the first step and let today be that first step for you and your significant other.
If you're ready to like each other again and be on the same team, this is the program for you. Sign up today.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. Today we're talking about learning to let go of past mistakes, high school victories,
Glory days.
right? Your glory days, guilt, bitterness,
Unforgiveness, shame,
all
embarrassment.
these things, all these adjectives, right? You can make out the list. So that's what we're talking about today. How do you do it? And that's what we're talking about right now.
Is how can you learn to let go? What do you need to do in order to let go? Because you might be saying, okay, yeah, I hear you, I agree with you, but I have no idea how to move beyond the pain of those moments, or how to create something exciting today that makes me feel as good as I felt in that glorious moment that may have been in high school or shortly after.
And so there may be some of you out there that say, you know what? You have already let everything go. You know, your relationships are 100%. Your finances are straight. You've been stacking up your money. You got a great job. Maybe you even got your high school diploma. Maybe we went on to college. That your life is perfect. This exercise is not for you if your life is beautiful.
All right, if your life is perfect and everything is thriving in your life, and you say, gosh, it couldn't get any better than this, then you know what? Store this for later. This is not for you today. But for those of you that say, you know what? I want to go to the next level. I want to achieve my next goal. I want to move beyond the things that have held me back. This is for you.
So what we want you to do is get a bottle of water, right? Fill it up, close it up. Don't drink it now. We want you to carry this with you for an entire day. That means no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, you never put the bottle of water down.
For 8 hours. 8 hours. And so you can choose what 8 hours you're going to carry it. It obviously can't be while you're sleeping, but while you're awake, you're going to walk around with your bottle of water. You cannot put it down.
Is this in one hand?
Not put it down. In one hand. Yep.
In one hand. Not
one hand.
You can't do this.
Nope.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So decide, like if you need your right hand to write and you're going to be writing, then walk around with your bottle of water in your left hand. Simple, right? 8 hours. A bottle of water, it's only what? Between 12 and 16 ounces. It's not that heavy. It's not that bad. Well, we'll see. So at the end of that 8 hours, what we want you to do is we want you to next step, journal how that felt. How did it feel to carry around just that one small bottle of water? And how did it feel progressively? So when you first filled it up, when you first started walking around with it, what was that like? Over time, did it get harder? And if so, like how bad did you want to put that down? Did you put it down? Did you give up?
Was it in the way of getting things done? Right? And then you accidentally put it down and you, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to put it down. So you go back and you pick it back up, right? We don't want you to put it down now, but some of you are going to be walking along and you're going to lose sight of what your plan is and what your focus is. Your focus is to not let go of that water, because if you lose sight of that and you're not focused and you put it down and you walk away, that tells me something. That tells me that you're not paying attention to what's set in front of you. You went about your normal day life and you haven't dealt with everything. A lot of times in life, we have great intentions. We move forward. We're focused at the beginning, but then life comes around us and distracts us. Are you being distracted by letting something go? You put it down, you walked away, and 10, 15 minutes later, you remembered, oh my gosh, I said I was gonna quit smoking cigarettes while I got a cigarette in my hand, right? Right? I remember that. I remember telling myself, I'm never gonna smoke anymore. 10 minutes later, I forgot I said that, started smoking.
So this takes an intentional commitment to say, you know what, I'm gonna do this exercise. I'm gonna walk around with this bottle for 8 hours in one day. Then you're journaling your experience, right? From beginning to end. How many times did you put it down? Did you put it down? How many times did you want to put it down? How frustrated were you? How annoyed were you? How heavy did it get? All of those things. Then step number 3, we want you to make a list of things that you have not let go of that you need to let go of. Because then as those things come back to your mind, so you've made the list and you say, okay, these are the things I want to let go. And so, I want to let go of unforgiveness. So now every time that I start to feel unforgiveness, I'm going to associate that with, I need to go pick up that bottle of water and I'm going to walk around with this bottle of water. Is it worth it? It's not, because it's stopping you from being as productive as you can be. It's creating a barrier between you and other people. Other people see it. Although you might think that they don't, they do. They see when you have things that you need to let go. They may not know what they are, but they see that you're walking around carrying something you should not be carrying. So if you really want to be free, we're going to ask you to carry the bottle of water, journal about what that experience was like, make a list of the things that you have not let go of, you need to, and then when you start going back to those bad habits, pick up a bottle of water again and carry it around and say, you know what? This is like my unforgiveness. Just tell yourself that mentally. This is my unforgiveness. What can I do differently? Because I don't want to carry this around all day.
Now, a lot of you don't want to go back to prison. A lot of you have said it over and over again. I'm not going to come back. One and done. I'm not coming back here. I will never come back here. Well, what are you putting into practice to make that a reality in your life? Right? Are you still looking back at your past? Are you still reeling in it and you're muck and mire and you're rolling in it? Mm-hmm. It's time to let it go. In order to reach into your new dreams, your new goals, you got to go in with a fresh start. You got to go in there with a fresh mind, right? With forgiveness, with that new joy, that newness of life can be yours if you learn to let go of the things that were holding you back.
When we come back, we're going to wrap it all up. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm your coach, Tremaine Hall. We're looking forward to getting you to the next level in where you want to be in fitness. Our whole method is to make you mentally tough and also physically strong. We're going to start with dynamic warm-up, lower core, upper body, and also full body blast. Get ready to take your fitness to the next level with TYRO Fit and Stenos.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. Today we're talking about learning to let go of unforgiveness, bitterness. What are the root evils in your life that are holding you back? Past mistakes, right? Maybe messed up relationships. Maybe you got fired from a job and you knew it was your fault, but you blamed somebody else. I don't know what's holding you back. You do.
Maybe somebody else just irritates you so much. Maybe they said or did something that caused you pain and you refuse to let it go. So you are assigning a fixed mindset to yourself, but also to people around you. It's time to let it go. If you flourish, you also want to help other people flourish around you. And so we gave you the exercise, and I really want to encourage you to do it because it is something you will never forget. If you carry around that bottle of water for 8 hours, by the end of the day, it will leave such an impact on you that every time that you start thinking about the things that are holding you back, the things you have not let go of, and you think associated with that water, it's going to help you overcome those things and to do something different and say, you know what, I'm making a different choice. I'm choosing to hang out with different people. I'm choosing to talk a different way. And I'm choosing to forgive myself and other people and build new dreams.
And even in the process of letting it go, we're talking about reconciliation in some cases. You might need to go try to reconcile with somebody that maybe you hurt. Maybe you said something not in their favor, right? Maybe you said something to belittle them. And you know what? Letting go sometimes means you got to go and ask for forgiveness. Now, say the person says, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to do with it. You made that attempt, but you still got to let it go. Don't let your past mistakes or how other people receive your new growth, your newness of life, your new attitude and your new mindset stop you from letting it go and moving forward. Because there will be others in your life that won't understand what it is you're experiencing and what it is you're trying to do. They will try to stop you from hitting that next level. They will always be reminding you of your past.
If you want to become the very best version of you, you need to let things go that were in your past. If you want to have the very best opportunity at having a healthy, thriving relationship, you've got to let things go that were in the past. Today is a brand new day. Today is a brand new opportunity to establish a new legacy, to reinvent yourself so that you are prepared to tackle every challenge in front of you and reach your dreams.
Now, is this going to be easy? No,
No.
Because you got to look at yourself and you got to be honest with yourself. You got to talk about every elephant in the room. Who put the elephant there? You did, right? And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Be honest with yourself. We promise you that if you're honest with yourself, that will be a reflection of what other people see. Because when we live in the world of denial, And that means you're lying to yourself. You will begin to lie to others, and others will recognize what a liar looks like because you will be living that truth in your life. So it's time to let things go that are stopping you from success.
Start singing the song, Let It Go, and start doing what it takes to put you on the journey towards reaching your goals. We want to thank you for allowing us to spend time with you today.
So until next time, always remember that we are rooting for you.